So when you look at the first circle, we have, I'm thinking you can see it now, right? Is defining your success. You know, how do you define success in your own experience? For me, all these things that you see in the purple square, they're part of what I see as defining my success. And any one of those could work for you also. Um, what I was saying earlier, and I'm sure you didn't hear, was when my first son was born, having him aligned my future for me in that every decision that I made was put up against the idea that is it in his best interest? And if it was in his best interest, then I felt comfortable moving forward. So as we define what success means to us, then we can use that definition of our success as our way forward. That's just an idea. So basically, it's understanding what your driver is. So for me, it's part of my family, which is who I have in there when they were younger and cuter. They're not so cute right now, but that's because they're teenagers. And I think a real secret to that is trying to keep it as simple as possible, just like when you decide if a job is something that you want to go for, if you have your idea of what success looks like, you can bring it back to that idea and say, is fulfilling to me? Does it hit the dollar amounts that I need? Does it address the bigger needs that I may have to impact the future? So you might have several different words that define it for you, but it makes everything easier. So looking at what you find successful in your life, that's the conversation, your inner conversation that absolutely drives you in your future. For me, it was an impact on my industry, as well as being an example, I hope, to my children. A lot of you have heard a little bit about Project Accelerate. Project Accelerate is a third-party partner to NAWIC in several different areas of the country. And it's just an example, and I'm not pushing PA at all, but it's just an example of how when two groups get together and they have some similarities in what they want for the future, you can come up with a program that serves everyone really, really well. And you make a bigger impact on everything. Now, is it all right if I play the video, or Jen?
Go for it. Go for it.
Woohoo!
So Project Accelerate is supported by two groups, the National Association of Women in Construction Detroit chapter and Lawrence Technological University. The whole idea of Project Accelerate is to explore the multifaceted opportunities that are within construction. A lot of the issues women face when they're coming or thinking or moving around in the construction industry is a lack of knowledge. So what we have designed is an exposure program that's modularly based. We start off with an overview of the entire construction industry, and then we bring it down and sample different opportunities within that industry.
So we have this happy little village that's down here by this lake.
I think my favorite part is like helping women who are interested in or already in the construction industry to elevate or alleviate their career. Because we have very motivated participants here, and hopefully we can change something in their life. So we definitely need more female representation in construction industry. So I think this program, this workshop is very important for this.
I decided to participate in Project Accelerate because I'm currently transitioning from the medical field to construction, and I'm hoping to learn more about different aspects of constructions and which avenues I can possibly venture into. So it was a great opportunity for me to see firsthand on what I would be working with and who I'd be working with. I would definitely recommend this program because I think it's a great opportunity, whether you're currently in construction or not in construction, to get an idea of where you may fit into the industry.
The fraternity with other women that are participating in this program, they come from all avenues of life, and they really can put some of their past careers into use in the construction industry. But this kind of gives you an avenue and a purview in terms of what other construction areas are working on and how it all fits in together, which normally you don't get on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, all right. So, here we go, right?
Yep. I was invited to come in and speak to the class and talk to them about my path in construction. I've been in the industry for 35 years. I am a master plumber and as well as a plumbing contractor licensed with the state of Michigan. Well, this particular program, which I'm very proud of, is because the women are getting hands-on practice, which is very important. You're not sitting behind a desk. You are actually going into the field. You're getting your hands dirty. You're actually seeing and smelling and touching and actually physically doing the work, putting the assembly together.
On the sponsorship end, on showing what we do and the operating engineers from the heavy construction of operating equipment and building buildings and stadiums, to give them the virtual tours and the hands-on piece out at our training centers to continue to recruit women in construction. So it's been a pretty amazing 4 years.
Our industry is exploding right now in southeastern Michigan, and we need more and more talent. We need to find them from wherever we can, and this organization has brought a whole new perspective to us in terms of getting the women in construction involved. In our organization, we have several women working for us now, but we can use more, and through this program we've identified some places to look and get some more talent.
We are just setting up for our year 5, which is going to be off the hook. We have never had more participation, more interest, more industry buy-in. People are understanding that we might be a small program, but we're making a lot of noise, and we are relevant, and that is rare in this industry. We are looking forward. We're excited about going to Washington, D.C. with our program. We've been invited to the White House to do a presentation. Very excited about that. We look forward to spreading the idea that we will expose our own talents, expose our own strengths, and build it with the help of others.
It's a great video. It's a great video. It was produced by our partners, and one of the things that it does show is that partnering with the trades, with business, with education, with other professional associations really expands your opportunities to do well. And if you get a chance, I'd encourage you to take a look at the video. So when we talk about success, it's really interesting because it does mean different things to different people. Now, these 4 items that you have in front of you are a way to measure success. I won't go through everything there because it's available to you. It was listed straight out of the Harvard Business Review. But top number 1, and it's number 1 on this list, is what is your objective? What is your governing objective? What is the big idea that you're moving towards? And that will push you in the right direction. I'm going to take a lot of time because I hate people reading slides to me, and you guys are all well able to do that. Now, a key component to this is also, you may want to succeed, but if you don't plan to succeed, you will fail. So the key components are, in my estimation and my experience, has been to gain the support of your leadership, to gain the support of key players within the area that you're trying to make inroads into, and get their buy-in. Part of what we talked about in presenting this is how do you do that? So how would you do that? How would you gain someone's support? And one of the easiest ways to do it is to really put yourself in their position and understand what it would benefit to them to ally themselves with you. How will it benefit them? What will it do? What problem will it solve for them? What will they get out of it? Once you can once you can articulate that and convey that fully, you're not going to have a problem with buy-in. You're not going to have a problem with getting support, because if it's a good idea and it benefits everyone, people will line up to help you reach the end game. Important, I think, is to create logic models. I can't speak English today. Sorry about that. For each program or initiative that you're trying to work on. And simply what that means is think through every potential end result of what it is you're trying to do. That includes failing at it. That includes it not working exactly the way you want to. And come up with an action plan. Figure out what to do next. Have a plan B. That way, even if it's not 100% successful, you can glean some important facts from it and use it to plan out your next successful endeavor. And then use measurable indicators in that. Have benchmarks that work for you. Have benchmarks that make sense in what you do and how you do it. And that's going to be unique depending on what endeavor you're going for. So if we take a deeper dive into this, we were talking about third-party strategic alliances and why that's important. It's important because as you collectively work together towards the same end goal, even if you're coming from divergent areas, your numbers multiply, your influence multiplies. Here I stuck a quick picture of a couple of us at an industry event from divergent areas. We've got an engineer, a detailer, and a bunch of architects in the background. And we all came together for a specific reason that made us look pretty good, actually. Although I think Tricia looks better than I do. Now, the key results that I was talking about is measurable. So identify, measure, and then reinforce the opportunity. And what that means is that when you come up with what your measurable visual is, figure out what you can do to make that even a better opportunity, even more successful, because you can 2.0 and 3.0 it. Sometimes we get a little bogged down with trying to be perfect instead of trying to get it moving. I'm a big proponent for doing the 2.0 and 3.0 because if you don't get started, it just won't matter how good your idea is. And again, connecting with colleagues, it's incredible the absolute influences that can help you get to where you want to go when you have the right colleagues behind you and around you. I've placed on this Prezi a great little Bloomberg report. You're welcome to copy it and go to it. And just get a little bit more of a background on why academically it's a great idea to connect with colleagues. So a big, whoops, sorry. So a big thing that I think makes people successful versus not successful is the authenticity of their connections. You may know a lot of people, but how many people can you pick up the phone to and really have a connection with and speak honestly and get your idea across? I think that speaks to your authenticity. It is incredibly easy to be a bad salesperson, and it's incredibly eye-opening to have real relationships in our industry. I personally don't like being sold. I love connecting with people who help me do what I need to get done and who I can authentically help get their agenda across. And then again, what we talked about before is planning for success. So having an actual timeline, having a benchmark set in writing and not just some abstract idea is really critical for you to see and make progress along the timeline for your success, whether that's in your career or in your activity. There's a conversation about numbers. We in NAWIC talk a lot about getting more members to join NAWIC, which is wonderful. I'm a big proponent for numbers. But the caveat is those numbers need to be worthwhile for both the participants and the association. So you don't want numbers just for the sheer sake of numbers. You want quality members who will derive real value from their association with our association, if that makes sense. It's something that will help with our attrition. And if they have a good experience, if we have a good experience, that just promotes the enthusiasm for increasing our bottom line in each of our chapters. Now, there's something that we've done in the Michigan chapters, which I'm very proud of. A few years ago, we had several chapters that were smaller than the Detroit chapter, which was on the growth end. We have Grand Rapids, which was a great-sized chapter. We have Kalamazoo. We have Lansing. All of us decided that there was strength in numbers. And so instead of talking about just NAWIC Detroit or NAWIC Kalamazoo, we decided to collaborate and list all of the companies that are participating with NAWIC in the state of Michigan. Because when you join the association, part of what these companies find so attractive is the affiliation with everyone else. And we wanted to leverage that. And that was a way of us thinking out of the box. In addition, we collaborate on other things, and I think we were among the first to hold a State of Michigan conference, a State of Michigan meeting, which helps us sort of talk about uniquely Michigan-based issues and opportunities, which gives you another layer of value to your NAWIC membership. I believe now Ohio is doing something very similar to that. I know Kentucky is as well, and I'm sure several others are across the country. There are a number of different ways that you can sort of collaborate and form alliances, and those three of the largest are what I've listed there: the industry-specific, the gender-based, and the event-based. So you can come together for a host of different reasons, and if you concentrate on the commonalities of what it is you do and where you want to go, you're bound to be much more successful. Industry-specific, our NAWIC pairs with ABC, pairs with a number of other agencies to get done whatever it is you need to get done. I know a lot of chapters across the country pair up with the AIA or the ABC, AGC, all these other groups. And the more we do that, the more we can expand our own influence, of course. I know I'm not saying anything new to anyone else, but the more you can get the word out, and the better your connections will be. So, in essence, I'm a big proponent for being bold and taking a chance and an opportunity. As women in the industry, sometimes we don't take as big a bold step as we need to, and I think we need to step it up and help each other be that bold girl with the wings, if you will. Is there any conversation that you all want to have?
Personally, I feel like some of our biggest events in Baltimore have been when we have partnered with other firms, or not other firms, other organizations. Like we do something with, it's the ASA, Association of Subcontractors, or American Subcontractors Association, and we've had over 100 people at that event. We've done a panel discussion on women in the industry, and we've gotten members out of that because women will come that are ASA members. Do you guys have any suggestions on other types of organizations, or even if it's an actual event type to host that's been successful for you guys? Anybody? How about you, Rita? I know you said that you've done some joint events in the past with, I guess, what types of events do you think are the best that are joint events?
Panel discussions, I think, are an excellent way to move forward. I'd say the awards events we are obviously a woman-centric program, but we're here for in the best interest of the industry. And when we can participate with industry-wide events, I think that gives us additional exposure and additional opportunities to get the buy-in of the traditional industry, which then supports our woman-centric policy. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
So I would definitely want to be a part of any industry happening that's big in your area. We don't want to be relegated to being the token women's group.
Right.
Because we are about being a vital part of the construction industry. Construction, engineering, design, and the trades. The only thing we have in common in general is the fact that we're women and we're involved in the business or the day-to-day of construction. And we can't forget that, you know. It's a bonus that we're women, but we're professionals in the industry first.
Okay.
So that's something that I think that we need to push a little bit more so that they don't look at us as the token woman. You know, somebody offered me a position on a board because they didn't have any Indian Americans on the board. And I'm thinking, like, okay, but that's not why I want to be on the board. I want to be on the board because I am a professional in the industry that has a valuable voice to add. If I happen to be a woman, I happen to be in, that's fantastic.
I agree.
I crack myself up.
You know, so I guess there's a fine line between celebrating women in construction, but not focusing on the fact that we are women in construction. You know, I mean, it's yeah. I struggle with that with myself. You know, I love WIC Week, but there should be more than just one week in which women in the industry are celebrated. You know,
absolutely, or valued.
Valued
is
yeah.
more than even celebrated.